Welcome back to In Conversation as we continue to bring budget coverage on day two. We just watched at the first presentation of our new MP, Mr. Riaz Rupnarain, all the way from the Pomeroon. um, Beautiful presentation,
Thank you.
done splendidly, and it brings the appreciation of seeing a young person like yourself on the floor representing your people in fine style. Welcome to In Conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. So you started off by, bringing your background to bring what I believe is the feel of the people, especially those from further off, how you see things and how it
Mm.
affects you. So you started off your presentation talking as well about where you're from and the realities of what is happening in the Cameroon, how budget like these affect the people at their door. And you give some examples about the school children and the cost. Let's talk about that.
All right. So initially, well, obviously the APNU doesn't have a geographical constituency for Region 2 after the 2025 election. But it will be absurd of me, and not even sensible, to be coming from the Pomeroon, traveling, traversing, coming to Parliament here and omitting all the issues that transpire in the Pomeroon. And in many cases, as I highlighted there in Parliament, and as the minister was saying that it doesn't happen, in many cases, the information is disseminated, but sometimes the Pomeroon is treated as though they don't exist. They're only a name in the admin region, but not an actual community, or that there are actually more than one communities within that area. So at the onset, I first had to highlight that as a person coming from Pomeroon, to show the others like myself 30 years, 28 years ago, that there is hope, that I determine my destiny. When I attend a school, it doesn't matter which school it is, I determine the individual I become. The school doesn't influence me, but I influence the school, because I went to all of the schools right there next, the first school next to my house, the first nursery, the first primary, the first secondary that you can walk and reach. I made sure I went to them. Even though I was awarded schools out of attend Georgetown, I made sure that I served there, I studied there, I did my training as a teacher in that same admin region. I taught there because I wanted the children there who are growing up to have some iota of hope that, you know what, I can be the president of this country. I can be, if Riaz can be an MP, I can be a president. And that is what I want to inculcate in them. Don't just aim to be an MP as Riaz. Don't just aim to be better. My satisfaction comes to see that you use my passion to climb the ladder higher than I did. And that is what we are here for. And even the Secretary General, because when you look at the media outlet, the first thing that transpired when the names were posted was, oh, APNU did not submit a young person. Apparently for them, youth is only measured by an age. But I can give you a plethora of young people who are below the age. And still, if you give them the work to do, they can't do it. And I can give you a set of persons who are above the age and they operate faster with more, and they are expeditious in carrying out their duties as a young person. The Secretary General of the UN indicated that youth is about your passion, your drive, your urgency to see that something is done change. And that is what I look forward for.
Yeah. And that's why I said you are one of our youth representatives.
So in regards to highlighting the transportation costs, as the minister said, it is not true. And I was anticipating that the Minister of Education had been there. But the Minister of Local Government was there, and the Minister of Social Services, who I know will inform them. It is not a situation as, it can be two of the coin. It can be that they have put policies from the ministry, send those policies there, but the people there haven't implemented it. And that happens a lot. Or it can be that they didn't think about that aspect, and that part wasn't catered for. So maybe they can cater for it. But we have had, it's one of the most common things when you look at an ask Charlie Secondary School about their enrollment, yes, it has increased. The enrollment has increased over the past few years, with the months because of the programs and so forth. But our job should not be, and when I say our, I mean we as Guyanese legislative
Correct.
arm and the government as well. It shouldn't just be to improve it, but it's to ensure that everyone who is that age should be in school this hour. If you're not in
Correct.
school, why are you not in school? And if it means I have to go out of my way to help this one, then that is what the job entails. And that is why I highlighted two things. You cannot continuously misconstrue equality to equity. Some people will need more than what others get, but
Correct.
to reach the same point. I've always done this when I teach this course to the students. I say the simplest way to imagine it is that both of us are going to the United States, but one of us got a direct flight and one of us will have to transit. At the end of the day, we will both arrive in the US.
Correct.
But we will arrive on different time under different factors with different costs. But we are going to get there. And that is our ultimate job, to get you there. So that is why I had to have, because that is an exorbitant cost. And when parents tell me I got to pick between who I send in, it just tug at your heartstrings a little bit. I
Correct.
mean, you're
shouldn't have to.
inhuman if it doesn't tug at your heartstrings to hear that this amount that you have to choose which child you have to send because of the amount of money.
In an oil-rich country.
Correct.
One that we boast about, and again, the budget is $1.558 trillion, and parents still have to decide who they send to school. That should not be.
Correct.
If we're touting this budget. You went on to a talk. I know that you're also dealing with foreign affairs, but we'll get to that because you did a lot of work on that in your speech. But you spoke to the issue of cost of living, and not just only in your area, but generally what it looks like, and the fact that they cannot see with their own data. You pointed out the issue of the use of data. They're not using it to even help them to fix the problem. And poverty is a big issue.
And it's the first, there's a reason eradication of poverty is the first sustainable development goal. There is a reason for it. And it should be the primary target of every budget. Yes, as I said before, and I supported constantly, we will support infrastructure. We will support development. In the budget, there are good things in the budget. But majority, the budget is basically repeating itself every year now. And the only new things are what we hear in the government, members of parliament repeating over and over. The increase in the old age pension, the increase in the public assistance, the transportation grant, and they're giving it as an aggregate sum. But they're not giving it as an individual. So you're giving billions of dollars increase in old age pension, when in actuality it turns out to $5,000 per pensioner. You're giving billions in public assistance when it turns out $3,000 per person to receive the assistance. That is what the people will have to understand. And that is what you have to disaggregate for them. So it should be the primary, and it's one of the things that I will willingly accept, that it can't be solved overnight. It cannot. But when you look at the measures, when you look at the indicators, the strategies, there must be clear signs that you are proceeding to do so. It mustn't just be keeping one class at one stage and another class at another stage. You have to have that transition from low to middle to high. But primarily look at it, in some cases there is no existence of a middle. How is it that the low will meet to the high? Right? So then we eventually will have a separated society.
Correct. And you talked about the 10-day workers and, the fact that, yes, you're giving them something, but there is no security, there is no pension, there is no NIS, there is no long-term value to what is being done with that.
Yes. And as I said before, again, that is it. It's everything is about catering for today and not for tomorrow. The 10 days workers, yes. I mean, if we can get them to work full time, better yet. But we will take is one dot is gonna build the dam. But it must take into consideration now, if this person has to get a spectacle, the costs of the spectacle. Yes, you're going to get a voucher, the availability of the voucher. You have to travel to. You have to take into consideration other variables. It is not as simple as it is like it is in Georgetown, where you say I have vouchers for you. You show up to you pay a 120 bus fare. You arrive, you collect it, and you go back. It is not the same thing when it comes to particular areas. Taking out even the cost of the transportation. There are certain hours. If you don't come out of your house to catch the transportation,
That's it.
you have to cancel your plans for the day. Sometimes you have to attend an afternoon event and you have to travel since the morning and just be traversing up and down by the market, waiting for your time to arrive because you can't leave home at that particular time. So this is it has to be strategy for long-term solution and not just short-term. As I said, I support the increase for them. More money, better for our people. Our money is not like a special treatment.
Correct.
But we must ensure that we cater for them for tomorrow, for next year. If something, God forbid, something happens to somebody, at least they can go now and claim something from NIS. It might not be much, but again, it's money. It will assist better than having nothing.
Foreign policy. You talk about the lack of clear foreign policy framework and, the issues of the Guyana-Venezuela controversy and talking about how even in schools, how not having information, not having those policy frameworks set out to help, how it is even affecting where they can't even mark the papers and having to change.
And that is what I was trying to highlight in the midst, which is saying it doesn't exist. These things exist. They are, but you see, the thing is that sometimes the officials have to remember when they travel to these offices as minister, they get a nice facade. A show is put on for them on their arrival. And you get cherry pick codes and a fallacy of distortion. But if they make a spontaneous visit, like when you like for me as a teacher, I've always known if I'm going to go and observe a teacher, I'm not going to ask the teacher. I'm going to check the child's book. If you're going to observe your employer, you check the customer, not the staff. You go to them first. That's where you get a better feedback. The data there is for your indulgence. And when it comes to the marking of these papers, I mean, you can't blame the teacher fully because they have to first, you have to know something before you can actually do it. And obviously the best thing, if I know I can't mark it, it's best I don't mark it at all because I might mark it unfairly. Therefore, they need to be taught. The children, the students, everybody. The children, I don't want where we end up 15, 20 years from now, where one of our child that we have in our generation becomes the next president. And now they have to go and read a book to be edified about the Guyana-Venezuela territorial controversy. Or even whoever we appoint, whoever becomes the Minister of Foreign Affairs in a few years or decades down the line. It must be inculcated, it must be indoctrinated with it, that ESCOB is ours, it was ours, and it will always remain ours. So that they have that passion in them, that when everybody threatens their border, come anytime, they will be standing up to protect it. And everything starts with education.
I agree. As we wrap up, because we are heading closer to our next presenter, the line budget success is measured by people's well-being. That's one of the things that you said in framing what should be done for the budget if you want to have it people-centered. How would you word or speak of the budget in a holistic sense?
It is filled with numbers, but lacking priorities. It's all the programs are repeated. And as my other colleagues and other members would have highlighted, that some projects have even given the same budget to do the same work. So repeatedly, one thing is being done over and over. It's the money are coming, the money is being spent, the money is there. But when you look at the impact, that is where the issue lies. How much Consistently, we are building particular roads. I mean, if you a few months ago we highlighted the issue of Charity Police Station, where the fence costs more than the police
Yes.
station. So I mean, things like that. So infrastructure is being done, but then the money does not make sense as being allocated for it. So it's the number is there. The budget is the largest by numerical value in the history of Guyana. But what we look for is how does it change the lives of the majority population? It will change the lives of some people. It will help some Guyanese. Those who are importing vehicles, they will get benefit from it. Those who are able to borrow the money because they have the collateral they will get benefit from it. But the budget should be targeting the larger group. And the group according to that is the one that is in poverty, because the IDB report is saying 58%, and they're telling us, the Director General stated on social media that we can't use it because the data is from 2021. But we can't, once you give us that, so you cannot be annoyed with us now that we're using your data. So if the data is wrong, and it's your job to fix it. So if I can't make empirical analysis, then you only leave me to make anecdotal analysis. So that is where, that's what I said about the well-being. It must ensure that the larger population gets something out of it, to move them from point A to point B. As I indicated earlier, I do not expect the budget to change the lives of everybody and make us millionaire overnight.
Correct.
And I've always believed in the concept of teach a man to fish rather than give him the fish every day. But it must be clear outlines to show that we're moving this group to B. Why is we moving this group to C? And so next year now, I know that the B group going to C now. That is what we expect, progressive development for our people.
Budget in 2 words. The 2026 budget in 2 words.
Infrastructure base.
Thank you so much, MP Rupnarain. It was a pleasure having you.
Likewise.
And to our audience, stay tuned as we have our MP Psycho Andrews coming up shortly, and then we will sit with him.